This is Kitty Popenhagen with Kitty Popenhagen Designs. I am a close to my heart maker, and today I have got a sketch for you that I created based off a close to my heart layout that was, I think, in a catalog. And it's pretty simple, and I've chosen the evergreen papers that were, I think, in the November-December seasonal catalog. I know the kits are still available as of this recording, but the paper packet just by itself is no longer available. And then some of those die cut sheets that I'm going to use are no longer available either. But the kits have a smattering of those things in them, so you can still pick up the kit if you're interested. In this little tray here, I have got some things that I just collected when I knew what I was going to use, and that I had like the branches and the evergreen boughs, and just collected some things, and I printed out my photos. These are photos from 2020 when we went up north in Wisconsin to cut our own Christmas tree. And so I just cut out some doilies in the colors that were in the kit. I cut out some stitched circles and then ran them through a little Swiss dot embossing folder. I cut out some banners, I guess you'd call those, from a brand new, it's not even out yet, die cut collection from Close to My Heart. And then I had some leftover pieces from another layout that I had done using those evergreen trees, and I thought, well, they're the right colors. I had some leftover glitter. This is a Seabrook glitter paper, and I had cut out some little snowflakes, and I had some evergreen boughs from a card making kit. So I just gathered them all together thinking, okay, some of this stuff will maybe work. I also grabbed the stamp set and a couple different stamp sets, thinking that maybe I would do something with those. So that's the kit, or not kit, the collection of dies that is coming out in the next catalog. So this is a sneak peek at it, and I love it. I think this is going to be so user-friendly, so many nice shapes in there, and they all have a little stitched edge on them, which is going to just make it even better. And then my favorite doily, I love that two-piece doily. And then these little snowflakes are out of stock. They are no longer available, and that's that little tiny Swiss dot embossing folder that I was talking about. So that's really fun to take a piece and just run it through that, and you just get a little texture and a little something different. So I'm going to clear the space here and get started. So I'm using a piece of French vanilla on the left hand side, and because I've created several layouts with this collection, I'm going to go ahead and use that evergreen, I don't know if that's pine, the color. It's got a pattern to pattern paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole thing. Sometimes I like to gut something or save paper, but I've created with this kit enough that I feel happy to just use that paper and use it up. So I've cut, that piece is at 5 3/4 inches on the left there, that big green by 12, that big green paper on the left there. And then I've got the strips of pattern papers, and then I added a little bit of green, or it's not green, Seabrook. I never can say that word right. Seabrook glitter paper that I'm adding to this. And then my favorite adhesive is the Tombow Mono, and I can never say this right either, Air. The tape runner, and then the refillable pack. I love those. They glide on really nice. I probably sound repetitive because I think in a lot of my videos I've mentioned how much I love this tape runner, but it is nice when you find something that you really like, because I had been going through tape runners like crazy trying to find one that I liked, and so I've been having good luck with this one. I've been using it for several years now. So just adhering those along the edge there, and then kind of referring back to my sketch, and then lining up the other pattern papers. Now I end up, as I printed my photos, with a different orientation. So the two on the left worked just fine, but then the ones on the right hand side are vertical instead of horizontal. So I thought, well, maybe I will just turn this page, which you can always do with a sketch. Like, you don't want to ever be so married to a sketch that you can't feel free to design, what you think will work for your photo. So I turned it and started to play with it. And yeah, I think that is the nice thing about when you do follow a sketch, is it does make your decision process so much easier because you can just follow the sketch. And sometimes little deviations are easy, but when I did this, then I created a lot of, I hemmed and hawed with this quite a bit. But in the end, I got there. And you'll have to keep an eye out later in this video for the mistake that I make, which I think was so funny because it wasn't until the next day that I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I fixed it before I took those still pictures for the end, but you'll have to see if you catch my mistake a little further on here. So yeah, I just ended up, once I switched that up, and I did go ahead and adhere these strips along the bottom. The back side of that paper is so pretty as well. I know it's hard when you have the patterns on both sides you like so much, but I was going with the one side here that is so pretty. So just once I taped those or adhered those down, then I still could have turned it, but I know when I looked back at it, I thought, I could have ended up switching it back. But anyway, it's done and it's fine. Sometimes we just have to let things go, right? So I'm getting my T-square ruler out to line up those papers or the photos on the left-hand side. And I just like using that because it keeps that nice straight edge and just kind of helps me keep everything in line. And I just kind of rest that on the edge of the ruler and can put it down. And then the second one, you can just line up from your first one and eyeball that. So the left side I've got going. Now the right side I'm still fussing with. Then I like that, and I thought, well, I could put a big title at the top. So I'm looking at my sticker sheet. Sometimes sticker sheets will have like a nice big title. This one didn't. And so I thought about cutting a title on the Cricut. Then I thought about doing the journaling on the top, but that felt like a big journaling box on the top. So kind of keep moving forward just because I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, and grab out these die cut sheets they went with the Evergreen collection. They are sold out, but there's a white one and it's not really craft paper. It might just be that toffee color, and they were great. They're sold out, but I wish they weren't because that one side had like some snowflakes and stars and the other one had leaves and pine cones, and they were just great for adding those little details. I know, again, in hindsight, now that I'm looking at that, I liked those little trees. I definitely could have gone with that, but you'll see I kind of went away from it, and I'm happy with it. That's the thing, you can always, and then I thought that kind of looked like the moon behind the trees. Yeah, but I end up, you'll see, I end up putting that aside and going in a different direction. But I guess that's why then we just need to make another page, right? We just need to keep creating, because there's always, different choices and different ways of doing things and lots of pretty ways to accomplish what we're doing. So, in the end, yeah, I just keep messing with all these little bits and pieces that I cut out and kind of trying to keep that design triangle where I have the embellishment cluster in the lower right hand side, and then a little tiny cluster up in the on the right hand side but on the top, and then the bigger cluster on the left hand side on the lower part, and that kind of keeps that visual triangle that we always talk about. I'm just trying to pull these little pieces together. I think when you purchase like scrapbooking kits or different things, they'll have those, I never say it right, but those, is it ephemera packets. So in mine, I kind of just created my own. I took little pieces that I had left over, and then, some from those die cut sheets, some from the stickers. So you're just kind of creating your own collection of ephemera that you can use to create your clusters. Little circles and little tags. I have really loved working with this evergreen kit. It was ended up being just one of my favorites. I love it. The colors are so nice. We take winter hikes, so a winter hike in the woods would be perfect for this. Christmas, you could do it for Christmas. Winter activities, if you ski or sled or do things like that. One thing I've noticed that as my kids get older, I know my one daughter has her red hoodie up in these pictures, so it's this little pop of red in the photos. But when they were little, they had bright snowsuits and oftentimes these really bright colors. But as they have gotten older, there's less of that. So these more grown up paper collections are kind of nice for when I'm documenting our family as it has gotten older. Um, so I just used an anti-static pouch to take off the stickiness on that sticker so that I can lay it down and kind of see where I want it to be without it sticking. And just, again, keep moving things around. It's so funny what is pleasing to your eye, and the more you kind of play with those clusters, the more, you kind of decide what you like. Again, that journaling spot is just driving me crazy. It just is not settling right with me. So then I knew I had one more photo, which didn't really fit in when I was trying to follow that sketch. But as soon as I grabbed that photo, I was like, wait a minute, maybe I need to do this. And then I had one more 3x4 of the vanilla because I had backed all those photos above it in that vanilla. So I just grabbed that and I was like, okay, here we go. Now I'm onto something. I did all of these photos are trimmed down to 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 so that my photo mats are 4x6 and 3x4. And in doing it that way, I can get a lot more photo mats out of one 12x12 sheet of cardstock instead of doing the photo mats at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then you're going to have to cut into a second sheet of cardstock. So that's a little trick. I don't always do it that way, but it's a good way to save on cardstock. So now you're going to see, well, okay, I won't say anything. You'll see if you pick up on what I just did. Okay, so I keep adding all my little clusters and liking what's going on. I feel now like I've got a direction I'm going in, and I don't know if you have that when you're creating, like sometimes you just get stumped a little and then something starts to kick in and we can carry on more smoothly. So that's my tool caddy that I've been loving from close to my heart, that all your pens and scissors and markers and things I can just set in that, and then I can very easily find them. I've always been the kind of scrapbooker that loses things on my desk. Things get buried. It drives me crazy, but that tool caddy has really, really helped. So you can find that on the website. So I'm just adding a little liquid glue. My favorite liquid glue is the Barely Art glitter glue. And I order that, I think I just ordered that on Amazon. I've also used the Tombow, both the green and the blue. I like both of those. But for those smaller pieces that have the intricate cuts, liquid glue can be really nice. So again, just messing with these embellishments and trying to decide where to put everything down. And so I did end up adhering that small doily and then grabbed one of the stickers. Oh, okay, now here I'm adding the doily. And I love the Tombow adhesive because it gives you a minute. I can move things, I can pull it up, move things around without ripping my paper, and then I give it a good press once I know that's where I want it. And I have not had any trouble with anything coming up, but I just really love that I have that minute to move things around. Makes a world of difference as you are trying to decide on where to place all these things. So, and again, those clusters are just, my recommendation is to just keep playing, like just, put it down, look at it. It just sometimes, I know some people aren't as picky, but I just really like it to be visually appealing. And so I want to take my time and mess with it a little and then, get it to where I like it. I'll set a block on it when I'm wanting it to lay down flat while it's drying, the glue is drying. These are from Scrapbook, I think it's scrapbook.com. They're little sheets of adhesive. I will use the adhesive tape from Close to My Heart, but sometimes I just don't have it on hand. And so I also have those, and that's kind of nice because you can cut it to the right size. And then the Barely Art liquid glue. So yeah, between foam adhesives, liquid glue, tape runners, we need a lot of supplies, don't we? And that's just a little tiny pair of tweezers that I don't even know where that came from. I don't even think it was from scrapbooking. I'm not really sure. I lost my good ones from Close to My Heart. I was so sad because they don't sell them anymore, and they were the best tweezers. I loved them. And yeah, I can't replace them. So I have this one, and then I have a Cricut one too that I don't like as much. It's a little bit more blunt. I like the fine tip, although, oh my goodness, you can hurt yourself with them. But it is handy to hold it in one hand and then be able to just apply your glue, especially your liquid glue, with the other. And then it's nice because you can kind of hold it above and kind of move it around until you kind of know where you want it. And so the tweezers allows you to kind of place things more easily, I think. So I like that too. So I'm often pulling out my tweezers. For some reason today, in doing this, my glue was not wanting to like stick down. Maybe those those were curling up a little bit, and so that's why those blocks, the acrylic blocks, do come in handy to place on top of there. So just switch working back and forth and letting the one dry. These little snowflakes were really cute. The white, I wished I could have popped them up, but they just had too many intricacies to them to find places to put, foam tape. So, and then, yeah, again, I don't know. It's like sometimes you have these little things of hearts. Like I wanted to use that. It was just hard to find the right spot for it. So you just keep messing around and trying things. I love the little words, like that little banner, I think, says Winter Wonderland. So that was perfect for this layout. This was the year of COVID, and we were waiting for my daughter to get home from Hawaii to go cut down our Christmas tree. And then when she got home, I was looking everywhere, and so many places were sold out. Like they were like, sorry, we're done. I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're not going to get a tree. And then on Facebook, I found this place. I think it was a little further up in Wisconsin. And so we drove up there, and it was the funniest thing because at home, and I mean, I think it was like an hour drive or maybe even only 45 minutes. But when we got up there, it was snowing really heavily, and it was in this quiet woods. We had to walk quite a ways, but it was not a freezing cold day, and it was really heavy snow coming down, and everything was blanketed in snow, and it was so pretty. And back home, we had no snow. And when we got back, there was no snow at our house. So it was like this perfect little magical trip up north to get our tree in the snowy woods. That was awesome, especially when I was starting to feel panicky because I didn't think we were going to get a tree. Couldn't find one. So these are little teeny tiny, they're called bitty gems. Oh my gosh, I think bitty gems. I think that's what they're called. And they are so teeny tiny, but they are really sweet, and I love using them. So I added one to that tiny little heart, and then like a little trio of them along the edge of that circle with the pine cone. And then adding a little more foam tape to the banner. I like to pop things up here and there to just create that dimension and interest all over the page. And I'm going to use that as a journaling spot. And so later after the video, I do end up drawing lines on it in like a charcoal gray marker, and then I always write my journaling out like on a separate piece of paper and make sure that it will fit before I actually put it down. Sometimes I print it out, and I like doing that too, but I had already had this down, so that wasn't an option. And I know they say it's good to have your own handwriting on a layout, and so it's okay. Adding another little snowflake over here. And then that sentiment there. I guess it ends up being kind of like my title. It's not super big, but it says Winter Wishes. I think our wish came true when we got a snowy, perfect spot to pick out a great Christmas tree. So that was a nice title. And I grabbed my T-square ruler again just to make sure that title, whenever things are floating in the middle of a page, it's just really easy to get it off and not have it be straight, and that just drives me crazy. I'm one of those people that will wander around rooms and straighten pictures hanging on walls, or I can't stand when things aren't straight. So using the T-square ruler really helps to have that nice and straight. And then grabbing a couple more little stickers, and then I looked through my stash. I thought I was done, and then, well, I knew I wanted to add a couple more gems, but then I end up finding the little, those are more of the little tiny bitty gems that I put on. They're so tiny. This is a little piercing tool that, again, it's a close to my heart tool that we no longer sell. Close to my heart has really gone away from a lot of the tools. So it's a shame because the ones that they had were really great. I love that piercing tool. But yeah, then I find these snowflakes that I had cut out for a different project. They're in that Seabrook. I always want to say sea foam, and so I have to stop myself because it's not sea foam. Seabrook glitter paper, which matches the stripe on the page. And so I had 3 of them. One was broken, but that was fine because I just tucked it underneath. And then the center of the snowflakes leaves this little star so that when it comes out, you have this little tiny glitter star. So I used those 2. I have the one right there in the corner. I was so happy when I found those and put them on because it added just that extra little bit of sparkle, and yeah, they fit right in. Tucked it underneath that heart a little bit, and I was really happy with it. And then the one little one I put up on the top kind of, again, brought that trio into play where you have that. Now these are the regular size sparkles, glitter. They're not glitter, they're just clear sparkles. And I'm going to put 3 up top. I kept thinking I needed to add something more to that banner section up there, but I didn't want to draw too much attention to that because I already had my triangle, and so, but adding just a couple of gems up there seemed like and I didn't want to leave that totally blank. I mean, maybe somebody else would have, but I liked a little something up there, but I didn't want to pull away from the clusters that I had going on, so I kept it a little bit more simple. So again, adding a few more of the clear gems. And in this one, I found it really easy. Sometimes I struggle a little bit with putting those gems on because I'm like, but I think when your clusters are bigger, it's easier to find the little spots that you need just that extra little something. So, and I always love glitter. I love sparkles. I just think that they catch the light and make them just really, just that little extra touch to a layout. So I know not everybody is into all the glitter and sparkle, but I am. So these are the last couple of finishing touches here, and I'll have some still shots at the end. And I ended up being really happy with this layout. And I feel like in the comments, you can let me know what you see here that is wrong on this layout. I end up fixing it, but kind of cracked me up. And I knew my video was done, so it was like, there's nothing I could do about it. So that's just me. I wasn't paying attention. One time I was doing a live video on my Facebook page and I spilled a cup of coffee during the live video and it went all over my layout. I ended up being able to kind of fix it, although it is still a little stained. But oh my gosh, I was like, that was crazy. I shouldn't ever have a cup of coffee on my table while I'm crafting because it's dangerous. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I do my Facebook Sketchy Thursdays on my Facebook page, Kitty's Close to My Heart Scrapbooking. I do them right from that business page, so if you ever want to catch me at 7 p.m. Thursday nights, you can just tune in. I post a sketch on Mondays, and then I just create most of it live. I usually end up waiting for the tail end to kind of finish putting down my the little details. But we have fun. I have a few ladies who also post their sketches in my VIP page, which you're welcome to join. Here are the die cuts that I used. That's a brand new one, sneak peek. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions and feel free to join me. I'd love to have you and see what you create. So thanks for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.